Hi guys, this is the second or third time I've been trying to film this video because it's weird. I don't know if I should be talking right now or if I should just be uplifting other people's voices, but then how would I uplift other people's voices if I don't make a video? It's confusing, but as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about what's been happening in the news recently and before. I just want to say I'm mixed. My dad is black, my mom is white, and ever since I realized that I was different, you know, that I was black and white, I've always been like really confused about what I should and shouldn't say, what I can and can't do, things I should and shouldn't speak on. But there are some things that are just too important to not talk about. So that's what I'm talking about today. Sorry if I keep looking over here. I normally put the camera on this side, but it's on that side, so it's like confusing. Anyway, yeah, so this video isn't really going to be about my experience being a biracial person, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the experiences of black people all across America. So maybe in another video I'll talk about what it's like to be mixed race, because it's different for sure. Things are very, very different. And I just think it's an interesting point of view to have. So that being said, I'm not trying to overstep any of my boundaries, and this video is supposed to be a conversation starter. Okay. About 3 years ago, I made a video on a whim. It was on private, but I unprivated it a couple days ago because I think it's important, because I was embarrassed of it, but I'm like, honestly, like, this is the truth. So I unprivated it. It's very old. It'll be in the iCards, but I'm also going to be putting clips in the video. So basically, at the time in the news, again, there was a lot of police brutality. This time though, to me it was more amplified because of the whole election thing coming up, and you know, people were acting out, to say the least. And I had just seen the video of the black man who was taking care of an autistic kid in Miami. Saw the video of him getting shot. He was laying on the ground. He was saying, "Don't shoot. I'm a caretaker for this boy. He's autistic. You know, like, don't shoot. I don't have any weapons. I'm unarmed. I'm on the floor. My hands are up. Don't shoot, please." And he did. And the cop shot him in, I think, the arm. It wasn't critical, but still, a bullet wound is, I don't care where you get shot, that's pretty serious. So he shot him, and then the guy laying on the ground was like, "Why did you shoot me? I'm unarmed, I'm laying on the ground, I wasn't doing anything." And the cop said, "I don't know." That fucked me up, because I was like, if this cop in broad daylight will shoot a man who said, "I'm unarmed, I'm not gonna harm anybody, don't shoot, please," shoots a guy, what are they doing when people aren't looking? And that's like that was like, I'd always felt that way because I always knew, but like seeing a video was like super eye-opening, I guess. Like, it hit different. So yeah, that was fresh in my mind. And then the whole president thing, and like the whole he's a racist, and like all this, like everything was just like culminating into this like giant ball of anxiety inside of me. So we went to Pollo Tropical and to get dinner, and I was with my dad, just me and my dad, because he was gonna go by himself, but I'm like, "Bryce, go with him, my brother." And he said, "No, I don't want to." And I was like, "Mom, go with him." She's like, "No, I don't want to." And I was like, "Okay, well, I have to fucking go with him because I'm not letting him leave the house by himself." So I go with him, and you know, I'll just put a clip of the video in, because I feel like me telling a story like this doesn't really like show how distraught I was. So here's the clip. 2 cops and 2 firefighters walked in. No big deal, right? Yeah, no big deal. And
I was so nervous because I was with my dad, and that's my dad. Well, I'm not gonna show you because I don't want people to come and kill us. My dad is black, and my mom is white. So I'm mixed, and with what's happening, every time my dad leaves the house, I pray because I want to make sure he comes back home.
Yeah, so I rewatched that video because I was like, I knew why I was crying, but I wanted to like see my emotion and see like, damn, this shit still is happening and it hasn't changed and my feelings haven't changed, but somehow I've been able to, I guess, control them. Like, I don't cry as much about it, even though I feel like I should. I don't think I'm numb, but I think I'm just more controlled. Like, I think I'm now able to have conversations that are upsetting and that could, you know, relate with me and without like full on crying, but I would like, you know, tear up and shit like that. That's from my perspective, which is a biracial, white passing girl. If I'm so terrified of my dad leaving the house alone, and to this day I still am. I'm still scared when he leaves, especially at night or when he gets home late or when he's out too early. Like, I don't like that. But I mean, he can't stop living his life. That's something he told me that day. He was like, I can't stop living my life because of this. Like, I still have to live my life. And I'm like, you're right. But if I feel that way, looking how I look, I cannot imagine how the black side of my family feels. I truly can't. My cousins, my uncles, my aunts, they look like my dad. My grandparents, they look like my dad. So not only are they afraid that their loved one isn't gonna come home if they're out too late or if they're running with the wrong crowd or if they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, they're scared that they might not come home. And that is like heartbreaking. You know what I mean? It's just heartbreaking to think that people live like that. Because even though I've never been afraid for my life, I mean, as a female I have, but just as like, for my skin tone, like, I've never been afraid of that. I mean, I have a little fear for my brother because he's darker than me, but he's nowhere near as dark as my dad. So it's like, the idea of just living your life and being scared is terrifying to me, and it's like, just, it's terrible. I don't think anybody should live like that. I don't care who you are, what you do, what you look like, how old you are. Nobody should live like that. That is a basic human right, to live and to feel safe. Wasn't that like one of the American, like, one of the things in the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and freedom? Back then I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help. I didn't know, like, I thought the only thing that could change it was politics. Genuinely, I thought that was the only thing that would do anything. But now that I'm older and, you know, I wouldn't say I fully understand, but I sort of understand how the world works more a little bit now. I realize that it's going to take more than a vote. It's going to take more than one or two peaceful protests. It's going to take a lot to get change, and that's the thing. Like, change is hard on a small scale, so imagine trying to change an entire country. And we're a very, very large country. It'd be maybe not a different story, but it would, not a totally different story, but it would be a different story if we were just trying to change a country the size of Texas. You know what I mean? It's still hard, but there's only so many people that can fit in a country that small. When your country is as vast as America and as diverse as America, that is hard because there are a lot of people who are stubborn and are stuck in their ways and don't even want to learn or talk or have a conversation or even think about things from another person's perspective. Like, it's just selfishness. People are so selfish. They don't want to sacrifice their comfort for the benefit of somebody else. That's just a fact, and it's terrible. And I'm sure whoever is watching this, you are one of those people who cares and who is looking for ways to, you know, make a difference in a big way, in a small way, any way is a difference. And I just wanted to, you know, talk about some things that are important to me and what I think should be important to you as well. I did write shit down in a book and have like stuff that I was like, okay, you definitely have to go over this, but honestly, I'm just gonna like talk. I was having a conversation with my best friend in the car about why posting on social media is important. She didn't really understand it. She wasn't really one to be on social media all of the time. So like to her, she's like, why should I post anything about anything? Like it doesn't matter. But she cared. That's not to say that she doesn't care. She just didn't understand the importance of social media. So I was thinking maybe other people don't as well, especially if you're not somebody who likes social media or goes on social media all the time. While social media can be toxic, it can also be, it is one of the most, how do I say this? It's like one of the most important and deciding factors for a lot of things. Like think about how easy it is for people to get canceled on social media. Think about how easy it is for things to trend and go worldwide on social media. That is the importance of social media. So whenever something like this is happening, it needs to reach a wide audience. And something that I don't think a lot of people think about is this isn't just an America issue. Other countries around the world are systematically oppressing Black people as well. And like by posting on social media and getting it trending and having more eyes on it, it's sort of like opening people's eyes. So like we are doing something in our country right now, making a change right now. But who knows, maybe in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, another country is gonna look back on us and be like, yo, this is what we should have done. This is how we should be doing things. We should be, you know, attacking our racist and fascist governments. We should be taking to the streets. We should be doing this because this isn't right. By not calling people, one, out on social media, if you see some shit, you need to say something, because if you see something, if somebody posts something on their story and you see it and they see that you saw it and that you didn't say anything, they think, one, you're on their side, and two, what they're doing isn't wrong, when that's not the case. You need to call people out on shit they say so then they can either, one, think about their actions, or two, show their true colors. And then you can decide whether or not you have the time, energy, and effort to try to change it or to just educate them. Like, don't go, I feel like, yes, we want to go into things changing people's minds, but I think whenever you go in with, I'm going to change your mind, people are less receptive. So we really more so need to go into this as I want to have a conversation with you and I want you to understand my point. Because when people understand, that's when their minds change. So people get their news from social media. So posting stuff that is real and is happening and that isn't filtered and refined is very, very important for people to see. They need to see the uncut edits of what is happening. With that being said, I also think at the same time, we shouldn't be sharing videos of Black people's deaths. Because after you see something a lot, you become desensitized to it, and I don't think that's something that should happen. We should not be desensitized to it. It's very insensitive to be posting the death video of somebody, because that's on the internet. His daughter probably already saw it or is one day going to see it, and that is scarring and traumatic. But what you can do is post the story. What you can do is post the protest photos. What you can do is, you know, repost the information on how to stop systematic racism and how to be actively anti-racist. Also, another thing is, news shows have been caught. I just recently came across this. They have been literally caught lying. Like, I'll insert the clip from Chris Clemens' Instagram story where he was like, yo, they're literally posting fake videos and photos of protests and putting a different name on it, because when you look at the little news clip or news picture, it says like some state and city, but then if you zoom in on the picture, the cop is wearing an Atlanta uniform. I'm pretty sure it was like New Jersey or Minneapolis or something, but I'm pretty sure Atlanta PD wouldn't be over there. You know what I mean? Like, why are they in that state? So why are you using a picture that isn't the actual place that you're talking about and the protest that you're talking about to show on the news? I don't know. That's not strike one, honestly. Strike like bazillion, but I just think it's really important for people to like sort of understand, like, yo, they be lying out here. I think another important thing to note is that like Social media is ran by us. We decide what is trending. We decide what gets, number one on Twitter or gets onto the Explore page on Instagram. We decide that. So it's important to repost, to like, to share, to comment, to get that post or that information to reach the top of the list. It also allows us to document things as they're happening. Like I said before, it's unedited, it's raw, it's happening here and now. It's not last night, this is what happened. It's right now, I'm seeing this. Right now, this is happening. And I think that's really important. So now, what can I do besides post on social media? There's actually, I'm going to link it in my description. I'm going to link a lot of different resources that I really think are important, that I enjoyed. Also, any petitions I came across that I think would be important for people to sign in my description. So just go ahead and click those links if you're interested. But the next thing is, what can we do? I post on social media. What do I do now? I feel like I'm not doing enough. What can we do? One, honestly, is to have conversations, because the main thing that needs to be happening right now is conversations. Not only black people teaching white people, but white people teaching white people. Because like anything, it's easier to understand and to empathize with somebody who looks like you. That's just the truth. It shouldn't be that way. It should be, you're a human, I'm a human, I feel for you. I know exactly what you're going through, but I feel for you when I say that this is not right and this should not be that way. So conversations. If your Nana makes a racist comment at the family dinner, you can decide to not say anything, or you can decide to speak up. I'm not saying have a fight. I'm just saying have a conversation. Be like, Nana, why do you think that way? What experiences do you have? Have you ever thought about this? Those sorts of things. Because I think the main thing is we need to stop arguing and we need to start conversing. That's the most important thing. And I'm going to be honest, I still struggle with this. When it comes to certain people, I'm better at listening to their point of view and sort of trying to understand and empathize, and then are also able to, come back with my point of view and feel like they're able to, listen and understand me. But because I am emotional, I'm an emotional person, and sometimes I let my emotions get the better of me, even though I have better control over it now. For some reason with certain people, especially, people that I think are smarter than that, or that are my friends, that I'm just like, what is not clicking with you? What, I don't understand where what I'm saying isn't reaching the finish line. I don't really understand, and it just gets frustrating because you're like, I thought you understood, I thought you get me, I thought we were on the same page, but sometimes people just aren't. So after you have conversations, for this particular issue, it's important to get involved in local government. Right now we're focusing on police brutality. So to get any immediate action in that front, we have to focus on our police, our judicial system in our area. And that involves, talking to your commissioners and your representatives and voting for who's going to be the governor and who's going to be, I don't even know politics. I'm being 100% with you. I don't even know what all the levels of government are in the city. I don't, but I should, because that's what we need to change. We need to be voting for people in our local government to make a difference, deciding, hey, looking into the people who are in power right now and deciding, should you be replaced, should you not be replaced, do your values align with mine, that kind of stuff. If politics is still a little too confusing for you, then the least you can be doing is signing petitions. It's free, it doesn't take a lot of time. Most of the time, a lot of sites and petitions that are out there right now, all you have to do is put your first, last name, your city, your state, your zip code, an email, and maybe a phone number, and that's it. You don't have to go and write anything. You don't have to go through any hoops or anything. You just have to put in some information and hit send. You can also donate money, actual funds, to help different organizations. You could, buy from local black-owned businesses or non-local black-owned businesses. Some people are based in different states that can ship across the nation, so you can support them in that way. You can donate to the Freedom Funds or the different organizations that help the black community. You could donate actual food and water support to different protests around you. You just have to, you know, look into that information. I'll try to find some links. And yeah, never stop searching for the truth. Like, that's just, especially now, never stop searching for the truth. Never stop searching for the truth when you're watching the news and they're saying that protesters were the ones that were being violent and protesters were the ones that are looting. No, that's not the case. Looters are looting. You know, rioters are rioting, but protesters are protesting a cause. People aren't going out into the streets saying Black Lives Matter just so they can break some windows and steal some shit. They're going to the streets and saying that Black Lives Matter, one, because they do, and two, because our country isn't acting like they are. When they start telling lies on the news about what people are doing in the streets, and when the president starts lying about things, and when he starts saying straight up false things when there is video evidence that that is not the case, that's when we need to start having, you know, worries, which it's already been happening, so we should be hella fucking worried. The creator of the Black Lives Matter movement posted an IGTV video, and it was I really liked it, so I'm going to link it down below, as well as some other activists on Instagram that I really like. That's what I use. I don't really use Twitter or Facebook, so those are the links that I have for you. If you have any links to important information, leave it in the comments down below to share with us, because I'm interested in learning, and I hope everyone else is as well. And also, let's just start a dialogue. Let's not argue. I know it's hard to do, but let's just talk. One document that I'm going to link in the description is a Google Drive file, and it's full of different files that go over different parts of Black history. So if you're interested in learning more in Black history, you can go ahead and find the link down below. It's very interesting. It's like, honestly, it is the most fruitful history I have ever seen, like that I've ever studied. And that's not saying I study a lot of history. I don't study anthropology, I don't study history, I'm into psychology, but history was always my favorite subject, and I hated it when we got to American history just because it was so fucking boring. But if my American history class talked about Black history in America, it would have been a lot more fucking interesting. I took a African American humanities class when I was in Seminole State. Fire, Dr. Vaz, you rock. He actually was like one of the most passionate professors I ever had, and he taught us about like the slave trade and all this. So he knew a lot about the African side of Black history. And then a semester later, I took, oh my god, I forgot his name. Oh, I forgot his name. But he was an amazing professor as well, and he taught African American, Dr. Voss taught African American history. My other teacher taught African American humanities, and that was full of art, music, poetry, writing, books, all that kind of stuff. And it was one of my favorite classes ever. I'd never taken a class like that, and I don't think I'm ever going to take a class like that again. But he was just so knowledgeable on, one, how to interpret art and how to look at the nuances of things, but also in Black history. And yeah, if you're in college and you have the option to take some electives, look into taking an African American history class, whether you're white or Black or Hispanic or whatever you are. Just take one of those classes, because you actually learn a lot more that way than you do from traditional history. Anyway, I'm blabbering. This is like a 30-minute long video, and yes, I hope you guys, you know, are safe. Thank you. If you're going out and protesting and you're putting your life at risk, thank you so much. You're way braver than I am. And hopefully everything that you're doing and that I'm doing and that we're all doing is going to make a difference this time. I will talk to you guys later.